is Charlie Schultz, and my debate is over: does homework harm or help students in school? The side that I've chose is how it does harm them mentally. So my 4 points of my debate, the first one is homework does not improve learning. My second one is homework harms mental health. My third is homework increases inequality. And my fourth is homework may put a strain on parents at home. So for my first one, there is no real learning gains in homework. There's little evidence homework improves learning, especially weak for younger learners, which is meaning some of the kids in elementary school may not get as much help at home as other kids. So personally, I don't think they're gaining anything from doing it at home, or some parents at home may not want to help them. So they just kind of do the homework for them. So they're not really learning anything. Also, most homework is busy work or practice, because you wouldn't send a new material home with students for them to learn. You would send something home that they need to practice or they need to get a little bit more experience in. So most of homework is busy work or doing work that you didn't finish in school. There's also no immediate feedback from homework, because they don't give the homework back to them until the end of the day when it's already graded. So there's not really an immediate feedback system for those students to learn anything from. Some of my evidence came from Al-Falcon, and then there's another reason that I do not think students can learn very easy with doing homework is high school benefits for homework is actually very small. So if the high school benefits are very small, then that puts the student benefits for the elementary kids lower than that, because elementary kids are not able to comprehend or do it by themselves at home. Some can, some may need some more help. My second argument is harm hurts mental health. So homework may increase a lot of stress for some kids at home, because some of our poverty kids go home and instead of worrying about homework, they're going to be worried about taking care of their siblings. They're going to be worried about what mom and dad are doing. They're going to be worried about other stuff besides schoolwork. So personally, I just don't think homework is a very good thing for these poverty kids, because it stresses them out and gives them more stress than just doing it in class and learning at school while they're not having to worry about home life. It leads to anxiety, fatigue, and burnout, which burnout is one of my main things, because once a child is burned out, they no longer value school, and that can hurt a lot of kids in their education. It can also hurt their mental health or just their later on growing up and becoming an adult. It also reduces family time, hobbies, and relaxation. So, when you are doing homework, not a lot of kids get to do homework with their families because their moms and dads have to do other things like cook dinner and all sorts of stuff. So they're using their own time to get that done. And it also is increasing stress because some kids may not have the help at home. Why does it matter? Is because it lowers their motivation, it decreases their emotional wellness, and it reduces their engagement. My third argument is homework reinforces inequality. So not all students have home support, which I've talked about multiple times already in this video. Most kids nowadays do have to do a lot of independent work. I'm teaching at Franklin Elementary, and most of my kids may or may not have help at home given to them. Their grades reflect resources, not ability. So when you take grades on these homework assignments that some kids got help with at home, they're obviously going to have a better grade than the kids that couldn't ask questions or couldn't get the resources they needed to get the homework done as they should. Another thing is some kids go home and they have so much other stress and anxiety about their home life that they just quickly get it done instead of taking the time to do it and have that reflect on their grade. It also widens the achievement gap. So some kids that are really, really smart, they can get these homework done. The kids that are not doing the homework very well, their grade is low, it's like slowly dropping over time. So that gap in between the higher academic kids and the lower academic kids just keeps getting bigger and bigger because you're taking grades on things that are not done in school. Sorry, that's just my evidence. So now responsibility is learned through engagement is another point I was going to point out. So when they're doing this at home, they're not fully engaged because they have other things to worry about. But in school, that is one thing like we're focused on, we're engaged, we're learning that together. Better practice happens with support. So like I said again, in the classroom, they get all these resources, they get all this support, but then when they're at home, they may not have that, and that can really harm a kid's grade. It can harm their emotional side, anything of sorts like that. Another good point that I have is incorrect practice. So some of these kids that are doing the busy work at home or the practice at home may not even be doing it right. So they're just doing some things that are wrong over and over again. So it's teaching them bad habits throughout time because nobody's there to correct them or reinforce them the right way. So it's really hard to break a habit that's already learned. In my conclusion, homework does not improve learning. It harms mental health, and it reinforces inequality. I affirmed the resolution that homework does not benefit learning. Thank you.